Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Believe in Bengals podcast. Adam Jones could not be with us this week, but we have a very special guest. That's right, not for only Cincinnati Bengals fans, but for Denver Broncos fans too, as we get ready to preview the Week 15 contest between the Bengals and the Denver Broncos. We say hello and welcome to the Cincinnati Bengals former first-round pick in the 1991 draft, 18th overall, and two-time Super Bowl winner with the Denver Broncos, Big Al, Alfred Williams in the house. What's up, Al? How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing so well, man. It's always great to be with you, Solly. It just warms my heart to think about our friendship and how far it's grown. And man, I just love you and I appreciate your leadership and your guidance over all the years. And it's always good to visit with you.
Hey, man, great to be on with you as well. We're going to break it down for everybody, let everybody know how we first met, all the great things that you have done in your life, what you did for our alma mater at the University of Colorado, what you're currently doing. We're so proud of you. But first, I got to let people know that the Believe in Bengal podcast is brought to us by Bet Online. That's right. We're back and better than ever. A new web interface for the rest of the NBA season. More prop bets, odds, and lines than ever before. Bet Online remains the number one spot for all basketball and football action. That's right. Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. Bet Online, that's where the game starts. All right, first of all, man, we got to look back at this Cincinnati Bengals game for Week 14. Man, those 49ers have been a thorn in the Bengals side. You know, when I was here in 88, Al, we lost to them in the Super Bowl. And now they came through town. Our boy John Embry, brought George Kittle through here, and he wrecked shop on us, man. So, you know how John Embry coaches tight ends. Just kind of talk to us about, about this last week game. I just want to get your take on what John Embry's doing with George Kittle and about those 49ers, because that's one of your former teams. You played for the Bengals, but you also spent the season with the 49ers.
Yeah, I think that when you think about the tight end position, there are great tight ends, there are good tight ends, and then there are tight ends that you wish that you can get off your roster. Well, it seems that with John Embry, what seems to happen with him is that he takes really good tight ends and makes them great tight ends, because with him, you can see that what he emphasizes the most is effort. And effort in not just the passing game. Look, man, George Kittle pancake block Von Miller in Von Miller's initial game playing for the Rams. And Von Miller has never been pancaked before in his NFL career before that. So when I tell you that the guy is getting the most that he can out of the players that he's been involved with, including Antonio Gonzalez, Kelsey, Knock Kittles, look, he's been a great positional coach in the NFL at the tight end position. I think the guy is a fantastic talent as a coach.
He went to the University of Colorado with us. He was born and raised in Colorado, went to Cherry Creek High School there, and the guy's been a great coach. You mentioned, so he sent all these guys to the Pro Bowl. He was coaching Tony Gonzalez. I told him, I'm not giving you credit for that one, John. I said, I ain't giving you credit for that one, man. But it is on his resume, so I got to mention it. Then he went to Cleveland. He coached Jordan Cameron, sent him to the Pro Bowl, a tight end for the Cleveland Browns.
Yes.
Then he get Cameron Brate in Tampa, sent him to the Pro Bowl.
Yes.
And then Travis Kelce in Kansas City sends him to Pro Bowls early in his career. And then he drafts this kid out of the University of Iowa in the 5th round, George Kittle, who's arguably become the best tight end in football. Now, you and I both know our Bengals are going to take on your Denver Broncos this week, okay? It's going to be a heck of a game. It's going to be in Denver, right? Both teams are 7-6, Al. How do you see this one playing out? And who do you think comes out the winner, and what's got to happen in order for that to take place?
I think the game is going to be interesting, because what the Bengals have done is that they have reestablished the run game. I mean, they have come out and done things in the run game that have really set up all of the one-on-one deep balls down the field. Teams have now paid attention to Joe Mixon and his ability to create a forward thrust in the run game, the one cut system seems to work for him. And I know that running zone offense that they have has been perfect for Joe Burrow, a guy who can get on the perimeter and make the plays down the field. The boot game works. And the one thing that I love about the Cincinnati Bengals as I'm studying them is that their run game solid matches up with their play action. Mm-hmm. And that is something that we have not done here in Denver. Okay. When we want to run the ball here in Denver, we run the rock. Okay. It.
That's right.
But the play action isn't as coordinated to match up with the run game, which is a problem. Mm-hmm. But I think at home in this crowd, in this thin air, the Broncos get a win because it's going to come down to a fourth quarter game. What the Bengals have been terrific at, and every time I turn on the film, I'm finding videos of new ways of these guys getting turnovers. Man, they have been turnover bosses. But the one thing that the Broncos don't do is turn the rock over.
Well, I think two of the best safeties, Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates, right? The safety for the Denver Broncos, safety for the Cincinnati Bengals, respectively. I think they're really good guys. I think they're ball hawks. I think they can come away with the ball. And it's going to be interesting to see who can help their defense the most when it comes to that position. Now, you were talking about Cincinnati Bengals and their ability to run the ball with Joe Mixon. They do a great job. I think they do. They integrate the pass. We know about Jamar Chase, man. He's putting up big numbers. T. Higgins on the other side putting up huge numbers.
Unbelievable.
So tell me, because I love the Denver Broncos rookie running back, Javonte Williams. This is a dude now. Cincinnati Bengals better be ready for this guy. And the players you guys have around Teddy Bridgewater, I don't know why you can't be explosive with a Jerry Jeudy, a Tim Patrick. Cortland Sutton is a dude. People need to understand this guy is a bad dude walking. And then you've got the running back in the backfield. So why have we not seen the explosive plays part of this Denver Broncos offense this season?
Well, I think once again, Solly, when we want to throw the ball, we get in the shotgun and we tell everybody we're throwing the ball.
Yeah, telegraph.
You're just telling everybody, here we come. Okay. And certainly, every team can do that. I mean, it's the reason that we have, periods in practice that only emphasizes on the pass. But when you're talking about hitting big plays, the home run plays, they come off of play action where you get a one-on-one because you have been running the ball successfully and you're going to stretch the defense by at least throwing up what we call chunk plays, 4 or 5 deep shots against the defense, no matter what coverages they're in. If you recognize a one-on-one opportunity, whether it's zone or man, if you feel like you can get a one-on-one, then that's how you get these chunk plays. We haven't done it.
Well, here's the deal. Don't do it this week either. Ain't no sense of Denver Broncos coming out of their slumber week 15. You guys can wait till next week to get that offense rolling. All right.
Man, I tell you, Solly, it's been the thorn in my side when I'm talking about the Denver Broncos and their offensive football philosophy, because last year we were in a 3 wide receiver set 70% of the time, and this year we're in the 2 tight end sets 70% of the time. We've had a total reversal of offensive philosophy, and our tight ends are fantastic. Now, both tight ends that we have here, Okuwebanam and, of course, Noah Fant, run in the 4.4s. Now, let me say that again. Both tight ends run in the 4.4. And if they, last week we got Noah Fant open down the field on the sideline for a big gainer, but it's just not been a something that we can hang our hat on. But after Kittle scarred up the Bengals last week, look for the tight ends to have a big part in this game.
Yeah, man. Hey, I want you to take me in the mind of Denver Broncos head coach, a defensive coach by trade, Vic Fangio. And what is he going to do with the first-round pick, Patrick Surtain Jr.? Do you put him on T. Higgins? Do you put him on Jamar Chase? Remember, he went to Alabama, Patrick Surtain did. So he's played against both of these guys when they were in college, right? Playing against LSU, playing against Clemson. You only got one of those guys, though. So who, if you had to use Patrick Surtain, your first round pick, the talented rookie out of Alabama, who are you going to put him on, Jamar Chase or T. Higgins?
He plays left cornerback. Anybody who shows up on the right side of the defense, you can see Patrick Surtain.
They're going to get some. Both guys going to get some.
Well, if you want some, you can get some.
They go get some.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, Solly, what's been great about our team and its makeup is that it is one of the top 3 most expensive secondaries in all of football.
Yeah.
We have guys that we have Darby, we have Fuller.
They can play.
Yeah. We have, you mentioned Justin Simmons. Of course, we have Patrick Surtain as a first-round draft pick. And then Kareem Jackson is the boss of the entire secondary. Yes, he is a hat bringer, a guy number 41 would have loved to play with, because I'm telling you, man, he's 185, 190 pounds. And I'm telling you, he does not chop his feet to tackle.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, this guy is, it's been good watching him. It's been refreshing, because the one thing here in Denver that it's always been known for is great safety play.
That's right.
Great safety play.
That's
from
right.
Billy Thompson to Steve Atwater to Dennis Smith. To John Lynch to now Justin Simmons. And don't even Brian Dawkins even played here at the safety position.
John Lynch.
Right. John Lynch. I mean,
That's right.
We've had our share of great safety play. And right now, man, it is just as good as it's been in the past. And I'm happy for it, because I think we, as an organization, the Denver Broncos organization, want to play a physical brand of football. But in today's NFL, you got to do it the right way. And these guys have learned to do it the right way.
So let me ask this question. Because this guy captured the imagination of the entire country during his 2019 season at LSU. We all know about the Heisman Trophy. What's the fan base there saying with the anticipation of getting to see Joe Burrow in person for the very first time? I know there's got to be a buzz around there, particularly with the media, because I'm going to tell you, Al, he's the real deal, bro.
There's no doubt about that. Listen, we can talk about a lot of things that are smoke and mirrors. He's not one of them. He is the real deal. And you could tell he holds people accountable. His offensive line, Solly, I'm telling you, man, the offensive line, they play hard for him. They block for the runner, Joe Mixon. There was something about Joe Mixon that I didn't like early in his career. It felt like he was a showboat guy, and I don't like those guys necessarily. I'm a guy who played with some great players, some Hall of Fame players. Of course, I played with the great Anthony Munoz there.
That's right.
In Cincinnati. Was not a showboat player. Okay, I played with Steve Young and Jerry Rice, 2 guys that are Hall of Famers, not showboat type of guys. I played with Terrell Davis, Hall of Famer, no showboating him. But I did play with Shannon Sharp now. He is a showboater.
Oh, boy. Hey, Shay gonna let you know. He gonna let you know. He gonna let you know.
So I don't necessarily like those guys on the offensive side that's in their DNA, but I think that he's reeled it in. And I think what I'm seeing now is a more mature running back who understands what's at stake here. And I do believe that the Bengals right now have the right guy at running back. They have the right guy at tight end. They have the right guys at wide receiver. And at quarterback, they have a very special guy who one day could be in Canton if he stays healthy. Now, Solly, after doing about 4 or 5 game breakouts on this guy, I don't know who is advising him, but I would tell Joe Burrow,
get down, bro.
Get down. How did you know I was going there?
Get down, bro.
How did you know I was going there? Because I'm watching this guy run with the football, and I'm thinking, what are you thinking? I heard Bruce Arians last week tell Tom Brady, we got to stop that, 4-letter word, right? You got to stop this crap.
You're not a running back.
Right.
And you're not Lamar Jackson, bro. Know who you are, right?
Right. And so I've seen that happen, and I've seen a couple of defenders not take shots on him on the sideline. But I'm telling you, in my NFL, when I was playing, if I saw that guy,
I'm going to get you.
who I know that's the best chance for them to beat us.
Yeah.
If I saw him running on the sideline, there would be no doubt he'd be on the ground. I'd take the penalty and take the fine.
Al, the Bengals played Green Bay here earlier in the season. That means Aaron Rodgers came to town.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the game was over, Aaron just ran over to Joe Burrow after the game and said, "Hey, man, like how you play. You hell of a player. Get down, man. You need these dudes gonna hurt you, man. You need to get down, protect yourself. You need to do a better job of that." This is coming from one of the GOATs, one of the greats of the game. And he's telling him, he's speaking from experience. And he's had a collarbone busted up. He's been knocked out for the season. And yeah, we all want Joe to stay healthy. I want to touch base with you on one thing, because I know Denver Bronco Nation lost a very special young man in DT, Demaryius Thomas. I still remember him in that playoff game. If you can make Tim Tebow look good, you a bad dude. He took that thing to the house, 80 yards, walk-off touchdown in overtime in the playoffs against my man Dick LeBeau. He did it to my guy Dick LeBeau, man. It broke my heart, but I was happy for him. People don't know he was a very special young man who played at Georgia Tech in a wishbone offense, still was a first-round pick for the Broncos and put up monster numbers with the Broncos. Just kind of give us a flavor for what kind of young man he was, because I know he's going to be missed.
Oh, solid, man. He was just a solid guy, man. I mean, big, gentle, country, just as country as he could be, man. I mean, when he got here to the Denver Broncos, it's almost like he had to have a PR session to get everybody on the same page about what we were talking about. And, I'll just tell you a quick story. When he was a rookie, he didn't play initially because he had lingering injuries from his college days.
Okay.
And I went over to the team hotel where they were, because I had a buddy of mine that was also injured and staying at the team hotel. And I saw him, and, I worked for KOA here in Denver, but I worked for a different radio station at the time. And I interviewed all of the players that were drafted. So I got a chance to meet him in person on the first day he was in town. And so I got a chance to know him and talk to him during training camp and through that process. And then I remember just sitting there and having this conversation with him when he was a rookie about his expectations and what's to come. Because he didn't, you got to imagine, when you're a first-round draft pick, you go to everything, you dress for everything, you participate in everything, and he didn't, man. And he was hanging his head low, man. I had like a 20-minute Solomon Wilcots and Alfred Williams kind of conversation, and it's gonna be okay. You're gonna work through this. Everything's gonna work out fine. You just got to remember, to play your butt off when you get a chance, and just let it all go. And you know what, man? We had a great relationship that year. It blossomed in year 2 for him professionally. And I've just been a fan of his ever since, man. He's going to be greatly missed. My kids took a picture with him every year in training camp, man.
Wow.
He was like that for the fan base around here. Yeah. Just a big country, humble guy who loved playing ball, man. He just loved playing ball. He didn't have that demeanor that we talked about earlier. He's not a showboat guy, and I could appreciate him.
People don't know he and Calvin Johnson both played together in wide receiver position at Georgia Tech there in Atlanta. They both came out of a run-oriented offense, ended up becoming 2 of the great wide receivers in the National Football League while they were playing. Hey, I know you got to get going, but I want people to know a couple of things about you. One, you were Paul Brown, the great legendary Paul Brown's last first-round pick in 1991. Not only did you wear number 91 for the Denver Broncos, but you were drafted in 91 in the first round by the Cincinnati Bengals. The legendary Paul Brown drafted a lot of players, man, Jim Brown including, but you were his very last first-round pick. When I say that, what comes to mind?
A proud moment. I mean, you're talking about a guy who understands the history of this NFL and understands the history of the kind of coach that Paul Brown was, the kind of executive he was, and how what he meant to Cleveland as well as Cincinnati. Yeah. And, I just will never forget the day that I signed. I was sitting there, Solly. I had my signing bonus check in one hand, and I had shaking his hand in the other hand. Let me see if I got a piece of paper around here. It was like this.
You shake.
He had the check in one hand and I was shaking and I was pulling the check. From him.
He wouldn't let go of that check.
He was telling me a life lesson that you probably were told as well. What he was telling me, first of all, we're not going to renegotiate your contract. Okay.
Yeah.
You signed this deal. You're going to play out this deal. And certainly Mike Brown held me to that same standard. Okay. You signed the deal. You're going to play out the deal. Then the second part was he wanted me to know that football wouldn't last. And I needed to have another career outside of football. And I should start developing that career as soon as possible. Now, you got to understand this, man. You got to understand this. You know, we could talk a lot about football. We could talk about a lot about experiences.
Yeah.
And we could talk about, you know, wins and losses. But what we can't talk about enough is the transition from this game into our communities.
That's right.
Paul Brown was a champion of players transitioning the right way into their community. It's something that I'll never, ever forget.
Yeah.
I'll always tell the story, and I'll always be thankful for his guidance, even as a young player in this league. And certainly, man, I have in my house, I don't have a whole bunch of memorabilia. I'm in my office. I have 2 pictures, one of CU and one of my my Super Bowl winning jersey, first Super Bowl winning jersey. But Mike Brown gave me the 75th anniversary bingo piece of art that I have in my house. It's not in view here, but I keep it, and I'll never ever in my life get rid of it. I love Paul Brown. He was great for me. I love Mike Brown because he was always a fan of mine. Mike Brown, I didn't like my time in Cincinnati. I did not like it.
It was hard, man. You were losing a lot of games, Al.
Not only were we losing,
but
while I played for the Cincinnati Bengals, there were race wars, there was police tension, and there were a lot of things that were unruly going on in the city. It just wasn't the ideal situation for a guy who came from Boulder, Colorado. So I was trying to fit in. I just never fit into that community. But just to tell you who Mike Brown is to me, when I went into the College Football Hall of Fame, I got this letter, man. Now, I had been retired for 4 or 5 years, and I went into the College Football Hall of Fame. I got a letter from Mike Brown, and as soon as I got the letter, man, I saw it. I teared up because I was thinking, like it didn't end well for me there in Cincinnati, but he still
pulling for you.
Pulling for me. We always communicated well, right? He always communicated well, and I picked up the phone and I called him.
Good.
And we had a good conversation.
That's right.
We had a really good conversation, and at some point, Solly, I hope I can get back to a game. But during the season, I'm committed to the Denver Broncos and the organization around here. But Mike Brown has been my champion for a long time. I really appreciate him. Really appreciate him.
Well, this is the thing. You and I are connected and have been for a long time because while hosting you on your recruiting trip to the University of Colorado, I kind of felt responsible for you, but you helped win a national championship by your senior year. Just as I was leaving, you were coming into the program. You ended up being a strong leader for that program and helping them to win a national championship in your final season. And then just as you come to Cincinnati to join the Bengals, I was leaving just as you got here. So as closely connected as we are together, I never got to play with you because I was always leaving as I was bringing you in. And I really felt bad that because we won when I was here in Cincinnati.
Right.
And just as I was leaving, you came here and had to deal with a whole different environment, a whole different fallout.
Right.
But you handled everything with such class. And then you went on. I remember when you were leaving the Bengals to go to the 49ers. I tried to get you to take that big check from Mike Brown because they were offering you all that money. I was like, Al, don't take the money, man. It's going to set you up for life. You can't spend them Super Bowl trophies. But you were committed. You were committed to winning. And then you end up leaving San Francisco to go to Denver and end up winning 2 Super Bowl trophies with John Elway. So what do I know? What do I know?
Hey, Solly, I'll never forget you, that phone call, and certainly people around that won't know the relationship that we really have, as you've been my big brother, my mentor, my career advisor, my professional coach, my psychologist. You've talked me off the ledge a bunch, man, when it comes to a lot of bad decisions. And I'll never forget you telling me, take the money, Alfred. What are you doing? What are you doing? Take the money. What are you doing? And I'll say, man, it was, I think Mike is loyal to a fault, fault. Okay. And I think that he stuck with David Shula far too long in Cincinnati. He was not the right guy for that job. And I don't mind saying it. If he was standing right here, I'd yell it to him in his face.
Yeah.
I'll give you one.
History has proven you to be correct on that.
let me give you what happened. And you know what? I'll tell you this because it's important when I tell you what happened. This will give you the mindset of what was going on in the team. I think it was my year 4.
Yeah.
And we had a team meeting. It's either year 3 or year 4. We had a team meeting. And David Shula said, okay, guys, we're going to have, we're going to set a goal here. We want to win 2 out of our first 4 games. Okay. Meaning we want to go 500.
Yeah.
So we went 0-4. So after the 4th game, we're sitting in the meeting room for week 5. Okay. He said, fellas, we had a goal to go 0-4. Can anybody tell me what went wrong?
Oh my God.
I put my hand up.
Yeah.
You didn't tell us which 2 to win. And of course I got fined, but I got the money back.
He didn't take that well, did he?
Listen, man, you can never approach any game like you're going to lose. I don't care who it is.
Every game you expect to win. Every game.
Don't you ever in your life, ever put that guy with that kind of mentality in front of your team ever again.
Right. There you go. See, when we talk about hiring coaches, this is the kind of stuff people need to know. When you came out of the University of Colorado, you probably lost 4, 5, maybe 6 games at the most your entire college career.
Right.
And you blew by that in your rookie year in the first month and a half, right?
Yeah,
but 6 weeks.
But we had Sam Weiss, which was great. That's a whole, Sam was great. Sam was great.
Yeah, Sam was
because
great. I played for Sam. Yeah.
Sam knew how to push the buttons. We just didn't have it for some reason that year. Yeah. And they made a change, and it was but I've been watching that team play for years. I've been watching because I know Mike Brown.
Yeah.
I know Katie Brown. I know Paul Brown Jr. You know what I'm saying? I know the family.
That's
the
right.
family was good with me. You know what I'm saying? So I've been a fan of the family, and I know they're loyal to a fault, but this time I think they got it right at head coach.
Yeah, I do too.
I think they got a guy that could be there for 25 or 30 years. And that is saying a lot.
Well, right now they're ahead of schedule. They're 7-6, taking on the Denver Broncos, who are also 7-6. This game is pivotal for both teams, but the Bengals are ahead of schedule. No one expected them to be competing for a division title and a chance to go to the postseason in Joe Burrow's 2nd season. But they've done well in free agency. They've drafted very well. Don't forget to stop by and say hi to Mike, Katie, and her husband, Troy Blackburn. I'm sure they would love to see you at the game. And remember, don't wake up the offense for the Denver Broncos this week. Let them stay sleeping, man, till next week, because we need this one, Al. We need it, man. I want to
not
thank
as much
you.
as we do.
I know, that's right. Hey, I want to thank you. We need to do this more often. I'm on with you over at KOA every Wednesday. I get to join you over in Denver and get to have all the people in that market hear what we have to say about football. But you are the best at what you do. I'm so proud of you. I can't tell you how proud I am of you and how well you've done throughout your life. Keep doing your thing, man, and keep being a leader in the community there in Denver, okay?
Can't wait to get back to the Montgomery Inn and play that good golf out there with you in Cincinnati. Love you, brother. You take care of yourself.
Love you too. That is Big Al joining us right here on the Believe in Bengal podcast. Don't forget to join us next week when we come back. Thanks, Al.
You got it.